This time we hope to conclude the segment on judging favorably. Today's class is Lili Nishmas Rachel Leah Bas Chaim Tzvi, Aleh Shalom. I actually violated my initial rule. Our rule is we're supposed to go no more than 25 minutes for these segments, and last time it went well over half an hour, so maybe we'll make it up this time, we'll go a little bit shorter. Okay, now some more important points about judging favorably. Firstly, we have a tendency. You go into a store, and this was pointed out very well by Rabbi Joseph Telushkin, and the clerk is a little bit slower than you think they should be. And right away you begin to condemn them, their ethnic group, their religion, their sex, and their gender. That's a terrible thing to do, start generalizing because of one thing doesn't appeal to you. That's certainly not giving the benefit of the doubt. Furthermore, what we do is, we have a high regard for our own character and far lower regard for other people's character. Why is that? Because we judge other people based on their actions, and we judge ourselves based on our intent. We never reverse it. When someone does something wrong, we think, look what they did wrong. We don't assume they had a good intention, but things got messed up. And we always know what our intention is, and so even though we didn't do the right thing, we will think, or at least we'll rationalize we did good intention. Why didn't they come to visit me in the hospital? Now you say to yourself, I should have visited them, but I had a cold, it was raining, I couldn't get a bus, the car wasn't working well. You can always justify. So you have to judge other people, also try, and just like you'll judge yourself based on your intent and not your actions, try and do this when it comes to other people, based on intentions and not just actions. Loving our neighbor as ourselves means seeking out rationalizations and excusing other people's behavior just the way we do it for ourselves. We'll justify our own behavior and try and justify the behavior of other people. Rabbi Telushkin brings the story that many years ago, the new group of senators that were elected had their swearing-in ceremony, and there's a picture of the senators raising their hands, taking the oath of office. And one person sent in a letter to the editor of the newspaper, rather caustic letter, saying, obviously one of the senators doesn't know his right from his left. He was referring to Senator Daniel Inouye from Hawaii. Senator Inouye, very interesting person. Inouye didn't raise his right hand because he didn't have a right hand. Senator Inouye lost his hand in battle in World War II. And instead of judging favorably, assuming maybe there's a reason why he didn't raise his hand, he assumed the person was a moronic individual, not knowing his right from his left. At this juncture, I will mention that Senator Inouye was on the Foreign Affairs Committee and was always very beneficial to the State of Israel. And I'll tell you what I heard from him himself. Many years ago, I spoke at Neve Yerushalayim, and the campus is dedicated to Senator Inouye for how much money he funneled to Israel and also to go to Israeli institutions. And he related after World War II, he was wounded, he was lying in a bed, and next to him was another soldier who was telling him about the concentration camps that he had liberated. And when Inouye heard this, he was so shocked, he couldn't believe his ears. When he recovered, he went to see, and sure enough, he couldn't believe his eyes. He was so taken by this, he said he wanted to convert to Judaism. But he knew his mother, a very devout Catholic, would disown him had he done this, so he never converted. But he said on his office door, there's a prominent mezuzah. That was Senator Inouye. He didn't raise his right hand simply because he didn't have a right hand. And people are quick to misjudge. Okay. We learn that people do things that are commendable. There is a human nature to belittle what they're doing and assume they have ulterior motives. You know why they were being philanthropic? Because they wanted to get a discount from the IRS, or they wanted to get things tax deductible. Isn't that a smart thing to say? The fact of the matter is, had they not made a donation altogether, they'd have more money in their pocket. True, you can get a reduction for taxes, but it doesn't mean that you get everything refunded to you. The government does this to make people want to give charity, but it doesn't mean that it's totally, it's not coming out of your pocket. We should also be careful not to condemn other people based on hearsay. The Torah tells a story about Sodom and Gomorrah, and this is I'm going to quote the words in English of what the Torah says. And this is what it says. The outrage of Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sins so grave, I will go down, God is talking, I will go down to see whether they have acted altogether according to the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will take note. Now it sounds so silly for God to say, I will go down and see. God sees everything. He's the omniscient. From here you learn that before you judge them, you should really introspect very carefully. And don't judge based on hearsay, circumstantial evidence. Until you really know, and you'll never really know the whole story, you should refrain from judging unfavorably. We've already mentioned that by judging favorably, you will avoid Lashon Hara. If you judge unfavorably, more than likely, the next step will be Lashon Hara. It's a slippery slope. Another thing is very important is people do things and say things which they later will regret if it happens in a time of distress, travail, hardship, sorrow. People in the time that they're mourning say things which afterwards they may often regret. So be very careful to try and realize that if people say things, they may be under distress, and that's why they said things which are not so appropriate.